This is ABC15 Mornings.
The deadly Yarnell Fire taking the lives of 19 firefighters back in 2013. But one firefighter is refusing to give up the fight for more information into what went wrong.
Heading to the polls to vote could soon be a thing of the past. But some new information is showing why some voting apps just don't work.
And hitting the field with Larry Fitzgerald, the event happening today, giving you a chance to play with the Cardinals wide receiver.
Larry the legend, we always love him and the rest of our athletes here in the Valley. So a great chance to interact with them. We're going to tell you about that. Plus, of course, we've got Diamondbacks Fan Fest as well. So much to do. So we're so glad that you're starting this very busy weekend off with us. I'm Nohelani Graff.
And I'm Justin Pizzera, and the weather's going to cooperate with us. A beautiful Saturday for us.
Oh, truly. Even this morning, even though it's chilly, we've got clear skies out there, and it actually feels pretty nice. We're in the upper 40s now in the Phoenix metro area, and we certainly have some colder spots in the outlying Valley cities. So as you walk out the door, just like every other morning here, you do need that sweater or long sleeve, but we will continue to warm up. So if you want to get your run in this morning, look at how the temperatures are going to change. 40s now, but by 10, we're in the upper 50s, so still cool. By 2, we're in the 70s with sunny skies. So it's going to be a great day to spend some time outside. I'm going to take a look at the rest of the events happening around the Valley and have that full weekend forecast for you coming up in just moments.
All new this morning, a fight for more information in the deadly Yarnell Fire. One former fire crew superintendent in Prescott is not giving up his fight for answers. So that wildfire back in 2013 took the lives of 19 Granite Mountain hotshot firefighters. The lawsuit filed by Fred Schofler back in 2017 accuses the U.S. Department of Agriculture of not releasing recordings from air-to-ground communication in that investigation. Arguments were heard this week in the front of a judge in a Phoenix courtroom to remand the case for a bench trial. A lawyer arguing for the recordings says that this is not about whether the recordings exist. He said it's about whether the search for the records was adequate. The USDA says all of the information in their investigation was released.
As concerns grow worldwide over the coronavirus, there's a familiar illness that still remains a big threat. We talked about the flu, and we've learned that another child here in Arizona has died because of the flu. According to the state health department, that child was from Yuma County. It is the first pediatric flu death of this year, but it is the second of this flu season. You might remember we told you that a baby right here in Maricopa County passed away in December. So far, this flu season has been a bad one. About 20,000 flu cases have been reported just in Arizona.
This morning, we are working to learn more about a crash at 5th Avenue in McDowell that sent a woman to the hospital. So this happened last night. Police telling us that she was crossing the street when she was hit. Her injuries are serious but not life-threatening. No word on whether the driver who hit that woman will be facing any charges. A toddler seriously hurt in a crash on I-10 in the West Valley. The Cliff Castle chopper flying near the Verado exit last night. You can see those emergency crews in the median right there. Troopers telling us that 3 cars collided, leaving 3 people injured, including that young child. It is unclear at this point what caused that crash. An argument turns deadly when a woman admits to killing her husband only after her fiance convinced her to tell police. So that shooting happening near 59th Avenue and Thunderbird in Glendale. Officials say that Shada Johnson admitted to shooting and killing her husband this week. She came clean to her fiance, who did not know the victim was Johnson's husband. Johnson's fiance was the one who told her to tell police exactly what happened.
Maricopa County does have a new assessor. The County Board of Supervisors voting unanimously to appoint Eddie Cook to that position. The Gilbert councilman is going to serve through the end of the year, but says that he does plan to officially run for a 4-year term after that. Cook, of course, replaces Paul Peterson, who resigned as assessor in January. Peterson coming under pressure after being indicted in that alleged adoption scheme fraud scheme. It has been nearly a year since flames ripped through St. Joseph's Catholic Church, destroying that house of worship at 40th Street and Shea. You can't forget these images. It was so devastating to the entire community there. But the congregation is choosing to reflect on the blessings ahead instead of the devastation left behind. ABC 15's Cameron Pullum is getting a look at their plans to rebuild and also finding out when their doors may finally be back open.
A solitary cross stands where a new start will soon blossom.
What looked like was a complete disaster for us has turned into be something quite spectacular.
Despite a heartbreaking fire last May, the St. Joseph Catholic Church is focusing on the future and not the past. Patrick Edwards, chair of the church's building committee, is sharing its vision.
It's going to be more open, more accessible. It's going to have more technology, more features.
The $5 million rebuild will pay homage to the church's humble beginnings.
It's going to have the bell towers. It's going to have rose windows in it. It's going to have traditional pews.
Adding with it a southwest design with space for more than 500 worshipers. It's been a difficult journey, one led by faith.
It leaves you not knowing what the next step is, and that's why your faith has to guide you.
It's now guiding them to also include new administration space, a kitchen and dining hall for the many weddings they expect to host. Then there's the 4 acres of land behind the church, now a dirt lot, but soon something much more.
We're looking at a faith-based assisted living, senior living rather, to go back in this space.
Not only will it allow those to live close to where they worship, but generate additional income for the congregation's charitable efforts. In total, they hope to finish everything within 3 years, breaking ground as early as this April, with the church itself finished by next year.
We're going to have Easter Mass 2021.
A fitting date to rise from the ashes anew. I'm Cameron Pullum, ABC 15 Arizona.
A new study from MIT is raising even more concerns about the security of online voting, which has been used in pilot elections in 4 states. They found loopholes where hackers would be able to change a person's voting without being noticed. So votes has mostly been used for absentee voters and overseas military personnel. It disputed the research by saying scientists tested an old version of that app. Well, what is old is new again. Uber is testing an old-fashioned way of booking a cab for its businesses here in Arizona. So where users, they can call a toll-free number to book a rideshare. So passengers can call 1-833-USE-UBER to reach an Uber contractor. So that contractor will then book a ride on the app and then give that caller a price quote. So Uber says the service is intended for people who may not have a smartphone or have access to its app.
Also here at home, a shakeup to the weekday lineup at KTAR News. Familiar voice Mike Bromhead is now joining the KTAR team.
And I will be doing 8 to noon, Monday through Friday, on Arizona's own 92.3 KTAR.
So the radio host there talking to Facebook to announce the news. The Mike Bromhead show will begin on February 24th. That is going to replace the Bruce St. James and Pamela Hughes show.
2/24/2020, the day fans will gather to remember Kobe Bryant and Gianna Bryant, symbolic as Kobe wore number 24 as an LA Laker and his daughter's jersey was number 2. So that celebration of life is going to take place at the Staples Center in Los Angeles on February the 24th. Tickets are now on sale, and all of the proceeds, they're going to benefit Bryant's Sports Foundation. Through Monday, fans can register for that chance to buy tickets on the Ticketmaster website. And the late Kobe Bryant is now in the list of finalists for the Basketball Hall of Fame. Bryant is a 5-time NBA champion and the 4th all-time leading scorer in history. So the players to be inducted this fall will be announced in April.
Speaking of All-Stars, the NBA kicking off All-Star Weekend with their celebrity game last night. It's always a good time to watch. Stephen A. Smith and Michael Wilbon coaching from the sides there. And really the one thing that stood out, at least for viewers, was there was a whole lot of trash talking going on. I mean, do we really expect anything less from Stephen A. right there? Singer Common is the one who really helped lead Team Wilbon to the finish. Final score 62-47. Common also awarded the MVP for the game. You see him raise the trophy right there. So it's always a good time, always fun. Football is also back on ABC 15 today. The XFL continues its first ever season at noon right here on our station. The New York Guardians are going to be taking on the DC Defenders. So For all of you who were sad that football was over, it's not quite yet. We're just changing the venue a little bit. But if you are staying in to watch that game, I hope you at least open the doors up or, stand outside on your patio and watch through the window just so you can get a little bit of the sunshine that's going to be out there today. It's going to be so gorgeous.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and this is that time where it's like there are so many events to choose from that you're kind of like, which do I do? How do I schedule so I can fit this all in because the weather is so conducive to it? We still have the Renaissance Festival happening in the Far East Valley, the Diamondbacks Fan Fest going down at Chase Field today. That's always a good time, lots of people. Weather will be perfect. We've got Chinese New Year 5K happening at Papago Park. And check out the temperatures all weekend long, very similar today and tomorrow, but tomorrow will be just a little bit warmer hour by hour. So 40s in the mornings, by lunchtime we're in the mid 60s, and then second half of the afternoon warming into the 70s. 72 today, 74 the forecast high for tomorrow, and by sunset we're back down into the 60s. So it's even gorgeous weather if you want to have dinner outside. I think we can finally turn the heaters off, at least for the early part of the evening. I'm going to take a look at that statewide forecast for you if you're wanting to take a little road trip for the weekend. That's coming up in just a few moments.
Well, if you're about to get your spring cleaning underway, then consider taking your old stuff to the recycling festival happening at the Happy Valley Town Center. That's today from 7 to noon. Everything from electronics to clothing to non-perishable food items, they can be dropped off. They will then be they will go to local nonprofits as an added bonus. You can also shred up to 5 boxes of important documents as well. Well, a lot of events happening around town today. Cardinals wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald is co-hosting a local community event today, and everyone is invited. So expect a lot of people out there. It's the Phoenix Field Day event happening at the Chandler High School today from noon to 3. There will be food, music, and sports-themed activities. Best of all, it is all free.
Oh, you got to love that if you're in the East Valley, or it's worth hauling over from the West Valley.
Right? Yeah, and the 6th annual Vegetarian Food Festival is happening at the Scottsdale Civic Center this weekend, featuring chef demos, musical entertainment, and fitness classes. Doors to that open at 10 o'clock. Tickets can be found at azvegfoodfest.com.
Also, getting some practice in before spring training, the Diamondbacks are hosting their Fan Fest today, and you're all invited to that as well. So coming up, we're going to look at one of the top newcomers on the roster this season.
And new charges for R. Kelly as another victim gets added to the case against the singer.
Also, a local man on a marathon mission, and we are catching up to him after competing in 7 different countries in the same number of days. How does that work out? We'll show you coming up.
We do want to get to some breaking news right now. We have a very large police investigation happening right now in Phoenix. This is at an apartment complex near 19th Avenue and Missouri. So again, this is a live look coming to us. This is the Ocotillo Apartments. Of course, we have reached out to Phoenix Police for more information on exactly what is happening there, but you can see that mobile command van set up there. Obviously, that is something large when they bring out that kind of equipment and that kind of staffing. So of course we will stay on top of that story for you. Outrage is growing this morning after a 6-year-old girl with special needs was committed to a mental health facility in Florida. So body camera video shows police calmly leading Nadia out of her school last week. The school saying that she was a threat to herself and to others after throwing chairs during a tantrum in class. In Florida, a person is allowed to be temporarily detained for 72 hours because of a mental illness.
She's just not able to communicate that due to her disability. She can only tell you bits and pieces. Mommy, they locked the door. They wouldn't let me out. Mommy, they gave me a shot.
Well, her family says that they were in the middle of changing Nadia's psychiatric medication, and mom says that she was not contacted before they took her away. R. Kelly is facing more charges. Federal prosecutors have added a superseding indictment to the sexual abuse criminal case against him in Illinois. The new charges allege co-defendants Daryl McDavid and Milton Brown helped the singer conceal video evidence showing sexual acts with minors. It also says Kelly and McDavid agreed to intimidate and pay victims to keep them quiet. According to the Chicago Tribune, the new charges add one minor victim to the case and then removes one. The U.S. Defense Department is looking to get nearly $4 million out of the military budget to pay for the 500-mile Trump administration's border wall. The request came Thursday, asking to reprogram the money from the National Guard and weapons programs. Democrats already pushing back, saying the decision was dangerous and misguided. President Trump has vowed to build at least 400 miles of that wall along the border by November of 2020, when the presidential election is happening. Recent census data is showing the life expectancy of Americans is going down, but that could change in a few decades. By the year 2060, almost a quarter of the U.S. residents, they're going to be over the age of 65. The Census Bureau projects life expectancy will reach an all-time high of 85 years old. However, this is still a slower rate than it was over the course of 1970 to 2015. The Census Bureau says recent surges in opioid use, smoking, and obesity, that all contributes.
So we've been telling you there are a lot of events happening around the valley to choose from, but one of the big ones is going down over at Salt River Fields. You can watch your favorite current and former Diamondbacks as they take the field for Fan Fest.
Yeah, spring training kicking off next week. Can you believe that?
No.
It is already here, and there's a lot of buzz this morning surrounding one of the new players on the team, three-time World Series champion Madison Bumgarner.
It's a really good group. Obviously, still got a lot of guys to get to know and get to know closer. So, looking forward to that. And but like I said, I think this is a group that can do some special things.
So you can see all of your favorite players at the 16th annual Fan Fest. That is today from 11 to 3. It is free to the public. We have all that information at ABC15.com. I do believe that you need to get those tickets, like sign up for them, but they're free.
Online, yeah. It's almost like an RSVP type thing.
Right.
That's one of the things, though, that we love about Fan Fest here and spring training is because it's really your best opportunity before the regular season to get to see the players, interact with them. They're always great with signing autographs and things, and you can kind of see who the up-and-comers are going to be.
And it's always nice to get out there and soak up the sun, because this is like when the weather is just perfect.
Truly, exactly. This is the perfect kickoff for this event as well. Our satellite and radar overnight showing us the last 6 hours, and you can see we've got clear skies statewide. Just a few high thin clouds passing over the far southeastern portion of our state and the far northwestern corner of our state north of the Grand Canyon. But I think we will stay clear for the rest of the afternoon. Because it's so clear here in the valley, that has caused our temperatures to dip this morning. So we've got some very chilly spots out there. We're now down to 40 degrees in Levine right now. Gilbert also at 40 degrees. It's just 41 in Santan Valley, Queen Creek, and Maricopa this morning. Also Anthem, just 41 degrees right now. The only places in the 30s, Wickenburg and Buckeye. So very chilly for you this morning. So you're definitely just going to need that sweater if you're stepping out early. And we're staying chilly for the next couple of hours here. Sunrise just after that 7 o'clock hour. And so that's always the coldest part of the morning. But then by 9, 10 o'clock, we're into the 50s and then warming into the 60s by lunchtime. So it's going to be mild, still not our warmest yet by lunchtime, but comfortable enough to be outside because that sun is going to be shining. And then we will warm into the low 70s for today. I think 72 is that forecast high, and it'll happen between about 2 and 5 o'clock. Then we start to cool down after sunset. By 8 o'clock, we're still in the low 60s. So a gorgeous night ahead with those clear skies. So city by city, the warm up looks like this today. 71 in Surprise and Peoria, as well as Glendale and Ahwatukee. It'll be 72 in Levine, Tempe, and Mesa today. Gilbert topping out at 72. Apache Junction and Santan Valley a little bit cooler at 70 degrees for your forecast high. Allergy sufferers, I am sorry. I know it has been a struggle lately, and it's going to stay that way for the rest of the weekend here. We will be in the upper end of that moderate category, and it's not just juniper, ash is also mixing in now as well. And so those are the allergens that we're dealing with. So that pollen is pretty uncomfortable for allergy sufferers. So I'm sorry about that. Here's a look at those forecast highs across the state today. Across the high country, it's going to be cool in the 50s for today, but sunny skies. 52 in Flagstaff and Window Rock, 53 in Heber and Show Low. Just south of there in Sedona today, low 60s, 60 degrees in Prescott as well, and then a little cooler still in Payson at 58 degrees. The warmest spots are along our western border in the mid 70s today, 74 in Bullhead City, 77 in Yuma, and we've got more 70s to our south. Safford coming in just below the 70s, 68 your forecast high. Futurecast showing showing us we're going to stay clear here in the valley. Today we will see a few high thin clouds to our north starting this morning, but we'll stay dry. No rain is coming out of those. And then the second half of the day we'll see even more cloudy conditions up at the Grand Canyon, Page, and portions of Flagstaff for today, but they're higher, thinner clouds. So today in the low 70s, tomorrow warmer still at 74. It is a holiday weekend. Monday is President's Day, and if you're off, that's going to be one of the warmest days of the week. 75 is our forecast high for Monday. We're going to continue to settle into the 70s for the next 7 days, and even those morning lows are going to start to get a little bit more mild. By the time we hit midweek, we're dropping only into the 50s overnight.
Putting the debate in Phoenix will give us a chance for our issues to rise to the top.
Well, just days before Arizona votes, Democrats will descend battling it out in this battleground state.
Oh, the party is going down. Mardi Gras celebrations getting underway in Louisiana this weekend as Carnival season kicks into high gear in parts of the South. From the Padres to the balls over, of course, the big party on Ash Wednesday ahead of Lent. The Mardi Gras celebration in New Orleans goes as far back as 1699.
Oh, wow.
It runs from January until the end of February. This is really the culmination of it. So much fun. I got to go several years ago. And if you love a parade and you love a party, then it is the place to be. You just got to not mind the crowds.
Oh.
Because it's wall-to-wall people.
Oh, okay.
Crowds.
Oh,
crowds.
crowds. Got
crowds. Yeah. Yeah, so much fun. A special Valentine's Day surprise for one girl in New York City.
So her face just says it all when her dad showed up to her school yesterday after being deployed overseas in Afghanistan. Look at that, with flowers. Alexis's parents are both in the military and both get deployed at different times, but both parents saying the distance never gets easier.
There's not words to explain how much I miss him.
Well, Alexis's dad, Army Staff Sergeant Daniel London, even serving as a New York City firefighter when he is not away.
Oh, I just love her face and just running. Full hug into Dad. You can blame the allergies if you need to this morning. I know that was I know, I gotcha. 7 marathons on 7 different continents over the span of just a week. I'm still not clear how he did it. One Valley man trying to finish this daunting task, and we wondered if he was going to be able to pull it off.
The answer, if you can believe it, he did. He pulled it off. We have been tracking Jonathan Negretti's progress over the last several days. Look at this proof that he made it. This picture says it all. Jonathan just wrapping up the World Marathon Challenge yesterday in Miami. So he says the races in Antarctica and South America, they were the toughest, but he did it. So now he's back in Phoenix, and he joked with us over text that he's probably going to have to learn to walk again, right? So as for why he did this, Jonathan says to raise awareness and to help those with ulcer-active colitis.
He could have done that with one 5K, but instead he did 7 marathons. It's amazing.